Yo, what's good everyone? Today I'm going to be breaking down some of my favorite DraftKings plays for tonight's 9-game slate in the NHL. So let's get right into it. And we're going to kick things off here like we always do, highlighting these 9 games in the NHL tonight, showing you the money lines and over-unders. First set of games here, we got the Bruins taking on the Hurricanes, Islanders at Blue Jackets, Lightning at Canadiens, and the Pittsburgh Penguins taking on the Washington Capitals. Next set of games here, we got the Panthers at Senators, Avalanche at Wild, Blues at Predators, Flames at Jets, and the Los Angeles Kings taking on the San Jose Sharks. With that being said, let's dive into a couple of line stacks that I like here for tonight, starting with that first line for the Pittsburgh Penguins, where we got Crosby centering Rust and O'Connor. This line has truly been great for the Penguins here as of late, having combined for 18 goals, 19 assists, 37 points in their last 10 games, while also registering 80 shots on net. I also think that second line for Pittsburgh is in play as well if you're looking to get a little cheaper. That's going to be Malkin centering Bunting and Raquel, but on this first line here, we're going to see Crosby and Rust play up on the number 1 power play. O'Connor unfortunately doesn't get any power play time, but he does play on the penalty kill, and we've seen his minutes rise 5-on-5 while playing with Crosby and Rust. If you wanted to pivot off of him, you could mix in Erik Karlsson, do a 3-man stack with him, Crosby, and Rust, targeting the number 1 power play, because this Capitals penalty kill has really struggled as of late, hitting at just a 66% rate in their last 5 games. And then another line stack that I like targeting here tonight is that first line for the Winnipeg Jets, where you're going to have Scheifele centering Ehlers and Velarde. Now, the Jets themselves as a whole have not played great hockey here as of late, but on this line here, there is plenty of talent and upside. We're going to see Scheifele and Velarde play up on the Jets' number 1 power play. Ehlers plays down on their second power play, but I like the matchup here at home tonight against the Calgary Flames, who have really struggled as of late, just going 1-6-0 in their last 7 games, allowing 4 goals per game during that stretch, with a penalty kill that's hit at just a 53% rate. Now, folks, before we dive into some of my favorite individual plays here, if you could like this video and subscribe to the channel, I would greatly appreciate that. Plus, I also want to mention that I do have my Discord channel as well, which is completely free to join, and we got a great group of people in there. Even in the days that I'm not able to get in there, we have a great community chatting it up in multiple different sports. If you want to join that, there's a link to do so in the description below of this video. If you can't find that link, just send me a comment and I'm happy to invite you there. Alright, now diving into some of my favorite individual plays here, we're going to kick it off with the forwards. First guy that I got at the top is Filip Forsberg of the Nashville Predators, who has been playing his best hockey of the season, maybe his best hockey of his NHL career over the past month. In just his last 10 games, he's got 8 goals, 9 assists, 17 points, 42 shots on net, averaging close to 20.5 DraftKings points per game, playing up on that first line and number 1 power play for the Predators. I also wouldn't mind spending up for Braden Point of the Tampa Bay Lightning here. He's been on a tear himself as of late with 10 goals, 7 assists, 23 shots on net in his last 10, averaging close to 17.5 DraftKings points per game, playing up on that first line and number 1 power play. And I know the Montreal Canadiens have technically played better hockey here as of late, but not really a team I'm afraid of. That's a team that's allowed 3.32 goals per game this year, the 8th most in the NHL, while having the league's 10th worst penalty kill. The next guy I got there then is Seth Jarvis, who's been reaping rewards ever since being bumped up to that first line with Aho and Gensel. He's also playing on their number 1 power play. He scored 9 goals, had 3 assists, and 27 shots on net here in his last 10, averaging close to 15 DraftKings points per game. They do have a tough opponent at home here tonight in the Boston Bruins, but I still think that that first line is going to get their fair share of chances here tonight. Next guy that I got is Anze Kopitar of the Los Angeles Kings. He's got 8 goals, 5 assists, 13 points in his last 10, offering some really nice value here at $5,200 for a guy who's averaging close to 13.5 DraftKings points per game over his last 10. Plus, he's in a great spot here tonight on the road against the San Jose Sharks, a team that's allowed close to 4 goals per game this year, the most in the NHL. They've also had the 5th worst penalty kill, hitting at just a 75% rate. We're going to see Kopi play up on that first line and number 1 power play. And then going back to the Winnipeg Jets here, I do like the value with Sean Monahan, starting to find his scoring touch again here as of late, scoring in 3 of his last 4 games. He's now got 3 goals, 6 assists, 9 points in his last last 10, averaging close to 10 DraftKings points per game, playing on their second line and number 1 power play. Now, moving on to the defensemen here, and there's some really nice spend-up options on this slate. Yeah, Roman Josi, Cale Makar. You could even go with a guy like Mike Matheson in the 5K range, who I'm not going to highlight. Needless to say, there's some really good plays on the board here tonight. Another guy that I would be willing to spend up for is Zach Werenski of the Columbus Blue Jackets. Such a well-rounded defenseman who can rack up DraftKings points in a number of different ways. You can see there 3 goals, 7 assists, 43 shots on net, 18 block shots in his last 10, averaging close to 17 DraftKings points per game. A defenseman who should log around 25 minutes here tonight, playing up on the number 1 power play and penalty kill for the Blue Jackets. I'd also be willing to go back to Mackenzie Weegar here of the Calgary Flames, another very well-rounded defenseman. You can see his numbers there, definitely not afraid to block shots, but in this 6K range in general, I'd also be willing to spend up for John Carlson of the Washington Capitals, Victor Hedman of the Tampa Bay Lightning, and Jacob Chychrun of the Ottawa Senators. And then getting into some of the value here, I'm going to go back to Caden Gooley of the Montreal Canadiens once again, still sitting at $4,300. Not someone who's getting any power play time, so I don't necessarily love that, but he's still very capable of getting on the score sheet. You can see 7 points in his last 10, not afraid to block shots, and averaging close to 11 DraftKings points per game over his last 10. He does log big minutes on the penalty kill and should play around 22 minutes in general here tonight. And then we got some sub 4K defenseman plays there as well. You got Forsling of the Panthers, McDonough of the Predators, Walker of the Avalanche, Radish of the Lightning, Fabro of the Predators, and then Fleury of the Lightning as well. And then I got a couple of goaltenders here for you, and I keep going back to the Carolina Hurricanes here. Looks like it's going to be Frederik Andersen getting the start tonight, and that is my preferred play over him and Kochetkov. He has been so good ever since returning from the IR, and really been good all season long, but ever since returning from the IR, you can see he's won all 7 of his starts, have a save percentage of .957, goals allowed average of 1.14. Those are truly ridiculous numbers. Again, a tough opponent here at home tonight in the Boston Bruins, but this Carolina team was lights out in March, going 11-3-1 in their last 15 games. And then if I'm looking to save some money at the goalie position here tonight, 2 goaltenders are sticking out to me. You can see I listed Tarasov at the very bottom of that note, but also like Jordan Binnington of the St. Louis Blues. Now, I know people are going to look at the Nashville Predators and how great a hockey they've played here over the past month. I get it, but Binnington's been playing some really good hockey himself as of late. Considering the price, I thought he was in play. You could see in his last 10 starts there, he's 6-3-1 with the save percentage of .925, goals allowed average of 2.55, averaging close to 19.5 DraftKings points per game. And as always, going to wrap up this video here with 3 low-priced options or sub 4K forward plays. First guy that I got is Slavkovsky of the Montreal Canadiens. He's been a bit up and down this year, but he tends to be a bit streaky, and he's been streaky here in terms of getting on the score sheet as of late, so I do like him at that price. Plus, you're going to face the backup goaltender for the Tampa Bay Lightning tonight, Kirill Marchenko there of the Columbus Blue Jackets. I honestly don't mind the Blue Jackets in general here tonight, especially their number 1 power play, because the New York Islanders have the league's worst penalty kill, and it's been like that all year long. And then Andrei Kuzmenko here, the Calgary Flames, currently playing up on their first line in number 1 power play, shown some really nice upside here in his last couple of games, and been finding the back of the net as well. Alright everyone, that is going to wrap up this video here for today. As always, thank y'all for taking the time out of your day to watch the content here on this channel. If you could like this video and subscribe to the channel, I would greatly appreciate that. Let's have ourselves a great day here, folks. Let's win some money on this 9-game slate. And in the meantime, I'm out of here.